When people talk about ancient Greece, they imagine beauty, marble statues, gods, philosophy, democracy, but that's only half the truth. Because hidden behind that perfection was something darker. A world where punishment wasn't just about pain, it was about humiliation. And for the people who fell out of favor, there was no mercy, no privacy, just shame. Picture this: the crowded marketplace of Athens, sunlight blinding, merchants shouting, and right there in the middle of it, a woman stands trembling, her hair being cut off as people laugh. That was justice in ancient Greece. And the worst part, it wasn't considered cruelty, it was entertainment. Today, we're digging into the punishments the Greeks tried to erase from history, the ones that didn't just break the body, but shattered the soul. Athens loved the idea of virtue and respect, time and eidos they called it. Everything was reputation. You lost that, you lost everything. And for women, it was even more fragile. Their whole worth depended on silence, modesty, and obedience. A rumor was enough to ruin a life. So when someone crossed that invisible line, an affair, defiance, even a whisper of rebellion, the punishment had to be public. It had to show everyone what happens when honor cracks. The Greeks didn't hide justice in courtrooms, they performed it. For a woman, adultery wasn't just betrayal, it was the end. Her husband could kill the lover on the spot, perfectly legal, but her punishment was slower, colder. She was divorced, branded as polluted. She couldn't attend temple ceremonies or festivals. Even touching sacred water was forbidden. Imagine walking through your own city and feeling every stare, every whisper, children told not to go near you, neighbors pretending not to see you. No blood spilled, no chains, but a social death that never ended. This one's hard to believe, but it's real. There's a record of a bizarre punishment in Athens called raphanidosis. Men accused of adultery or indecent acts were publicly violated with a radish. Yes, an ordinary radish, turned into a tool of mockery. It wasn't just about pain, it was symbolic, turning the body into a joke. Crowds watched, laughed, jeered. It was humiliation as a public event. Historians still argue whether it was always literal or sometimes just threatened, but everyone agrees on what it meant: to make someone's body the stage for their shame. You could heal from wounds. You never healed from that. Then there was the quiet punishment. No whips, no crowds, just silence. Once a year, Athenians could vote to exile anyone they wanted. No trial, no defense. People would scratch names on bits of pottery called ostraca. The one with the most votes had to leave Athens for 10 years. You kept your life, but not your home. Your name vanished from the city's voice. In a culture obsessed with legacy, that was worse than death. To live, but not exist. Slaves, thieves, and sometimes even free citizens could be branded with a hot iron, right on the forehead or shoulder. It wasn't about punishment, it was about marking you forever, a sign that said, this person doesn't belong. In a world where beauty and perfection were everything, a scar was a sentence that never ended. Every look reminded you of what you once were, and what you'd never be again. For women, humiliation was crafted with precision. Hair in ancient Greece wasn't just beauty, it was identity, purity, even virtue. To lose it was to lose everything that made you respectable. When a woman was accused of adultery or defiance, her punishment began with the blade. Her head was shaved in public, sometimes entirely, sometimes roughly hacked away. People gathered to watch, to whisper, to remember. The laughter hurt more than the knife. And the mirror afterward showed her what Athens wanted her to see: a woman without pride, stripped of herself. Some weren't touched or branded. They were simply erased. No one spoke to them. They couldn't join religious events, couldn't pray, couldn't bury their dead. Even the gods turned away. It was called miasma, impurity, a stain that no time could wash off. To the Greeks, this was worse than any lash, because it didn't just destroy the body, it cut the soul off from everything sacred. The real cruelty of Greek punishment wasn't the act itself. It was the eyes watching. The Greeks believed that shame worked best when everyone saw it happen. So every punishment, the shaved head, the exile, the public mockery, was a performance. No guards needed, no prisons. The people became the enforcers, and humiliation became the law. When the punishment ended, the whispers didn't. And in a city built on reputation, whispers were enough to finish you. It's easy to think this was just ancient history, But it's not. We've just changed the stage. Back then, the marketplace was filled with spectators. Today, it's the internet. Back then, they threw stones of gossip. Now it's comments, screenshots, and public ridicule. Different tools, same instinct. The Greeks perfected the art of using shame as control, and somehow that art never really died. They built a world of gods and glory, but their most powerful invention was humiliation. If stories like this make you see history a little differently, hit subscribe, and let's keep uncovering the truths they tried to bury.